Fake news. It is great to be here. There have been a lot of moments where we've been told to turn to our neighbor and say, and I really haven't been comfortable with any of them. I gotta be honest with you. Turn to your neighbor and say, you know what she's feeling? I don't really know what's going on. Love y'all, it's so good to be. I'm like, what am I doing at a women's conference? And then it hit me. This theme is I'm gonna focus on the last part, and she laughs without fear of the future. And we just heard that the sixth love language is working out. Wrong. No, I get it. It's my wife's love language is working out, long walks. She walks me and the dog every night right before sunset. She wants me to live till 90. And I believe the sixth love language could also be laughter, the way we give and receive love. I want to start by just telling you, I was raised by a strong woman. Bonnie Cunningham. I was born in Naperville, Illinois. And I'm here to tell you, my mom never would have put up with this right here. Raise your hand if your mom did not put up with that right there, all across the room. Yeah, and you'll notice this is at Target. We didn't go to Target, we went to Kmart. Can I see some Kmart fans in the house? Yeah, my mom, she wouldn't stop at the dollar bin and ask if I want anything. She would step over me when I fell down and said, you can meet me on aisle 8 whenever you're done with whatever that is going on right there. How many of you had a mom that gave permission to spank you to total strangers? Would you raise your hand? Yes. Yes, I was raised by a strong woman, and I am married to a strong woman. She is an 8 on the Enneagram with a 9 wing, and I am an 8 with a 7 wing. We make it work. This is my wife, Amy. We met on a blind date at Liberty University. She's a Minnesota girl, born in Austin, Minnesota. Do we have any Austin, Minnesota folks here? All right, Amy, we met on a blind date. I looked at my buddy, said, I'm gonna marry this woman. He said, you can't decide that. I go, I've already decided it. And then I'll never forget walking into the kitchen of her 6'2", full-blooded Norwegian father. And I said, I'd like permission to marry your daughter. And he said in his thick Norwegian accent, you betcha. I said, but only under one condition. I had just graduated. She had a year left. I wanted to break all the rules, get married before she graduated. I said, I will only marry her before her senior year if you allow me to pay for her senior year of college, to which he said, Minnesota? Yeah. You betcha. And guys fight me all the time on this. I'm an advocate for young marriage. I believe you can get married and grow up together. And I get pushback all the time, especially on college campuses. Bro, how do you get married at 22 and 21 and afford to pay for a senior year of college in cash? I say, it's this thing called a job. For those of you ladies looking for a man, find one with a job. You're looking for a financially attractive man, and all the single ladies said, amen. But guys will keep pushing back on me. They'll be like, bro, I can't afford to get married that young. And I'd be like, bro, I believe that if you weren't holding a venti caramel macchiato in your right hand and an iPhone 10 in your left. You need to start thinking Folgers and flip phones, bro. And you haven't started marriage right till you get your parents' hand-me-down mattress. Can I get an amen on that one? The dip already built in. You get in, you roll to the center. That's a good way to start marriage right there. But we celebrate this month 23 years of marriage. And we are having a ball. But I am married to a strong woman, and I always at marriage events love to ask, how many of you guys in here are married to strong women? And hands go up real slow. Some of the guys ask, do you want me to raise my hand right now? But I'm here to tell you, I'm married to a strong woman, and I love being married to a strong woman. Because she makes decisions, and there's so much passion in my wife. Nothing is halfway in our home. Everything is everything is passionate. I laughed so hard during Julia's talk because it was my wife. I kept looking over at Amy. This is you. She loves walking, and we don't do casual strolls through our neighborhood. She did everything. We're getting to where we're at. Getting to where we're going. Here, and she's looking at her watch. We're getting the steps, and I can't stroll. And she'll ask me, "You squeezing your cheeks together?" And I'm like, Amy. Let's just let them relax a little bit tonight, all right? Passionate woman, and that's what I love. When strength comes, I'm passionate. I can come home from a bad day at church, and Amy's like, "Hey, how was your day, babe?" I'm like, "Hey, it's kind of a rough day." And she's like, "Well, fine, let's quit, move to Africa, be missionaries full time." Wow, that escalated real fast. I think we should bring it down a notch. Sleep on it maybe a little bit before we go changing continents. Julia mentioned love languages, and I love it. My wife has 2 love languages, the exact same as Julia's. Acts of service and quality time, which means I serve her for long periods of time. But I just finished a book on laughter called A Love That Laughs. It comes out in February, and we studied laughter for the last year. And I've been watching it in my wife, and my wife has a silent patriotic laugh, is what I call her laugh. When she finds something funny, she places her hand over her heart, leans forward, and nothing comes out. So, ladies, I'm glad you're laughing. Sometimes I go to churches that aren't used to laughter. That's why I love coming to River Valley. Y'all love to laugh. But I go to some churches, they don't laugh at all. And I'm like, ladies, let the laughter out. You hold it in, it turns to cellulite. I need you to let that laughter out. Don't hold it in. Strong woman. So I was raised by a strong woman. I'm married to a strong woman. And I am raising a strong woman. I'm out of breath. I've only been up here like 8 minutes. I should probably take those walks more seriously. My daughter's 16. My whole family's with me out in the boutique. I need you to stop by my book table because they've already spent everything you're going to spend at the boutiques. We were here 3 minutes, and my wife already had that bag and was filling it from shop to shop. My daughter is 16. I brought a picture of Corinne as well. This is a few years ago. She wants you to know, I used to always say she's my pioneer girl, outdoor woman. She loves nature and critters. And this was a few years ago. She's like, "Dad, I've changed." And so I need to get another picture and tell you where she's at now. But this was Sugar. When my daughter was 5, firstborn, taking over the home. Who has a firstborn taking over the house right now? Let me just see. If you've heard anything I've ever shared, eradicating the kid-centered home is one of my passions. Don't let those little guys, as my friend Kevin Lehman says, I've seen the enemy. And they are small. You can't let them take over the house. But when she was 5, Amy and I'd be in the family room talking, and Corinne would just kind of walk in. And we would keep eye contact. Like, don't break eye contact. Just stay focused, Amy. She'd go and try it again, and finally I set her down on the breakfast bar. And I said, "Corinne May Cunningham, there is only one queen in this house, and you ain't her." She looked at me with those eyes that said, "We'll see." Big talker. Next day, she tells my wife, "There's room enough in this house for 2 queens." I put her back on the breakfast bar. Say, "Corinne May, you'll never be my queen, but you're my princess." And what that means is one day I'm going to stand at the back of a church with you, looking down the aisle at some pervert. And I'm not walking you down the aisle until I know he loves you as much as me. Because you see, Corinne, one day I'm going to walk down an aisle and give you away to become another man's queen. And one of my parenting strategies, Corinne, is to show you each and every day, to the best of my ability, how a queen should be treated. So you will look for it in your future husband. I was raised by a strong woman. I am married to a strong woman. I am proud to be raising a strong woman. And I'm here to tell you, in Branson, Missouri, I pastor a lot of strong women. This past May, my family was invited to Morogoro, Tanzania. And I was going there to speak on marriage, and I was going to speak 4 times. I was invited to speak to 500 pastors from Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. I was pretty nervous. I didn't know what to share, and obviously a lot of my delivery is steeped in Western thought and Western delivery. And I prepared all the notes, trying to strip all Western thought out of it, and just, this is what the scripture says about marriage and how marriage works. And I want to introduce you to my friend Eugene. Eugene was my translator while in Tanzania. And we sat down for breakfast on the first morning. And I just said, tell me everything you can about your culture. Tell me everything you can about these pastors that'll be coming. And Eugene started to pour out, and he started to share with me about his own marriage. And he explained to me the bride price, and it's the price that he had to come up with to pay his wife's father. And I said, Eugene, what determines the bride price? And he went through a whole list, but a few of them were age, education, the complexion of the skin. And right then I knew that my message had to change. And it was at that breakfast table that I went back to something my mentor taught me. I was blessed with a mentor for over 15 years in Dr. Gary Smalley. And Gary's message that always hit home for me was simply called The Incredible Worth of a Woman. And it was there that I started to change what I was going to share with these pastors, realizing that a lot of these pastors in their culture were teaching what the culture believed about marriage, but not what the Bible taught about marriage. And I think we're dealing with something similar today in our country. And it was there that I started to change. And as I shared with pastors this message, the incredible worth of a woman, this was my prayer for the whole week that I was there. May this message go out to the ends of the earth and expose every demonic teaching that oppresses and enslaves women. And I said, pastors, may it begin with you and your marriage. May you not treat your wife as the culture has told you should treat her and where you should place her. One Kenyan pastor told me that he asked the pastors' wives in his area, what word in our village or tribe would best describe women? And almost all of them answered something similar to the word tool. May this message go out to the ends of the earth and expose every demonic teaching that oppresses and enslaves women and doesn't see the value in women. It reminded me of the time Gary Smalley went to India to do a marriage conference, and he asked the ladies, I have all week with you, but I'm going to be spending some time with just your husbands. What one thing you want to make sure your husband understands before I leave? And many of the women told Gary, if you could just get my husband to quit hitting me. May this message go out to the ends of the earth and expose every demonic teaching that oppresses and enslaves women. So as you start at the first part of Proverbs 31:25, which is where when I got this verse and I got this theme, my heart leapt. I was so excited. I started to pencil some things down, and I've been meditating on it for the past few months and asking the question, where does a woman find her strength, her hope, her confidence? Psalm 118 and verse 14 says, my power and strength come from the Lord, and he has saved me. Psalm 28:7 says, the Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. My heart leaps for joy, and with my song I praise him. I wanted to tell you, he is your source of life today. He's your source of life, and be careful what you do with people, places, or things. Be very careful not to turn people, places, or things into your source of life. We say it around our home often, my source of life is Jesus, not you. I receive from him and pour out to you. What you receive from me should be the overflow of my relationship with the Lord. It was just mentioned by Nancy, and I amend. I want you to know your strength is not found in the government. I was going to bring some political jokes, but then I thought, nah, probably not. I got here, my biggest issue today, every time I go to a women's conference, they shut down all the men's bathrooms and turn them into women's restrooms. That's true. What was that excitement for? I'm no joke. I have a hard time finding a place to use the restroom, and it feels like I'm in North Carolina sometimes. I don't know if you've been to North Carolina, but they're still having a problem figuring out which bathrooms to use. And I'm not here, though. I said I'm not getting political. Not here to get in y'all's business. But like I was telling the women in the restroom earlier, I said, I worry about y'all. There's a lot of perverts out there. You got to be careful. Good to see you again, ma'am. Glad. Did they ever get that? Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Psalm 20, verse 7 says, some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. You remember when we used to turn on the news when we were kids just to find out what was going on? Now we turn on the news to find out, what should I be mad about today? Whatever you're watching in the news today, and some of you are watching the 24 news cycle repeat every 30 minutes, and you ain't any sort of happy. My dad's retired 17 years. He's watched Fox News for 17 years, 24 hours a day. And I come in the house like, Dad, how's it going? To which he responds, well, we're going to hell in a handbasket. That's how it's going. Dad, I told you got to start watching more Joel Osteen. You can't be watching all this angry stuff all the time. It's not in the government. Your strength, your hope, your confidence, it's not in outward appearance. 1 Peter 3, verses 3 and 4, your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold, jewelry, or fine clothes. Is this prohibitive of that? No. It's saying, don't let that be your source, but it can be overflow. Don't let it be your source. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. Wear nice clothes. Wear makeup. That's not at all what this is teaching. It's saying it just shouldn't be your source of life. It's not money. 1 Timothy 6:17, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. We lose strength and lack confidence when we turn the blessings of God into our source of life. And we start worshiping the blessings rather than the one who blessed us. Where is your source today? I want to talk to you in the time that we have remaining just about laughter as a barometer of strength. Laughter as a barometer of strength, not perfection, but strength. Two other areas that you should never find yourself looking to as your source. Your source is not in your children. They're not your source of life. And some of you right now, your children have become an extension, and you find your value in them. Vanity parenting uses the child's attributes and accomplishments to try to impress other people. Let your strength, let your confidence, let your hope, let your beauty come from that inner beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit. Be very careful when you go on to the highlight reels on social media and you see everybody and everything they're doing. You think, man, look at that perfect family. We just came out of summertime. And you see all these families on the beach, which is where we go. We all live in the Midwest. We go to the beach. You see all these perfect families in matchy-matchy outfits. And you're like, boy, I wish we could do that. I wish we looked that happy. But let me show you what's going on behind the scenes. There are no perfect families, and everybody said, amen. This is also what's going on. This is my favorite one right here. Now, The look on mom's face is the look of horror, but on dad's face is, we're having a good time. We're having a good time. I believe the reason I am here today, I want to tell you who your source is and where you find your strength, but I also want to encourage you to lighten up. Lighten up. Stop taking yourself so seriously. Take God seriously, but lighten up. And your children are your source. And mom, if I can just tell you, I have to talk to the moms for just a second because everything I do is marriage and parenting and I can't get away from it. Mom, you're stressing out over the non-essentials in parenting. And you need to know what the essentials are. And the essentials are, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all of your heart, soul, and strength. And impress these. These commandments are to be upon your heart. Impress them upon your children. Bring your children up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. That's the essentials that we're going after. But I see parents today stressing over the non-essentials. Why? Mom's stressing over the non-essentials because the children have become the source. Your family's not perfect, and you're gonna do okay. I'm gonna show you a few things. Just give you an example of what I see parents stressing out over today. How about this one right here? Formula. Passionate people. You got nurse as long as you can. Nursing didn't work for us with Corinne. She's like, thanks for sharing that with all the women of Minnesota, Dad. But it didn't. I'll never forget it. 6 weeks, her 6-week appointment, we went into the doctor, and I'm sitting by Amy, and he comes in, he's going over all of her charts. He starts looking at her head. Head's good, length good. Gets to the weight chart. His back is turned to us. He's one of these doctors that doesn't have great bedside manner. And I'll never forget him saying these words, "Good night." What are you doing, starving this baby? I look over at Amy. Psh, the tears start flowing. This is why it's so important. If you're not in a life group, a home group, a small group, if you don't have community, get in community, because that night we had home group. That night we had home group, and we're new parents trying to figure it out, and we ain't doing that well, and we're an emotional wreck. We're not sleeping well. Corinne's never slept a night, in those first 6 weeks, and we're exhausted. We start telling all our struggles, and one older lady in our group gets up, and she walks over to the kitchen, and I follow her. I said, excuse me. I said, what are you doing? She reaches up in the cabinet. She grabs that formula they give you free at the hospital. She puts it down, and she starts making a bottle. And I go, whoa. Hey, what are you doing? Because I've read all the books, right? I know what the books say. And there's somebody in here right now real passionate about it. Oh, I hope he's not giving a message that formula's okay. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. And I got really all up in arms with this lady. I go, you can't give her formula. She goes, you give me one good reason why I can't give Corinne formula right now. I said, well, first of all, I don't want her going to community college. That's where I'll start with the whole thing. That usually gets about 75% laugh, and I'll explain to you why. 25% are super right now. You're stressed. I think your kids are gonna be fine. Lighten up, Mom. Focus on the essentials. Let go of the non-essentials a little bit. Your children are not your source of life. Don't find your strength from them. You're like, oh no, my kids fill me up. Yeah, give it a while. You will find out nothing sucks the life out of you faster than a child. How about this one? Oh, let's keep going there since we're having so much fun. Oh, a binky? No, you did not give your daughter a binky. We did. Till she was 2.5. Sure, she can't pronounce her S's. But she has nailed the other 25 letters. I need you to know that. She's got them down. Let's keep going. How about this? The family bed. I hear people get online debating everything. Oh, you shouldn't do that. I'm for eradicating the kid-centered home. But I want to explain something right now to every mom in here. And this is serious. This is not a punchline right here. You are under no obligation to explain or defend your parenting choices. None. I'm over there. I hate all my Facebook friends. I hate them all. They're all of their father, the devil, and children of darkness. I can't stand them. If you have the family bed and somebody go, oh, it's gonna, now look at all those kids, the dog, the cat. I have no idea how they had so many kids, but if that's your choice, no one's here to tell you otherwise. Oh, then this one stresses parents out, the school picture, right? What school? Public, private, home, Christian? You're under no obligation to explain or defend your choices. The bus. I'm seeing parents today stress over the bus. Do we send our kids on the bus? I grew up on the bus. How many of you grew up on a bus? Those of you stressing about this decision right now, I want you to look around. I do, because I'm gonna ask this question. You're gonna be shocked at how many hands go up. How many of you remember back in the day, bus drivers kicking unruly kids off the bus in the middle of the route? Oh, I'm in Minnesota now. It's 10 below zero. Get off the bus. We did though. Listen, the bus driver would drop you off 1.5 miles from home. I grew up in the cornfields of Illinois. I remember getting dropped off. And you'd see our line going through the cornfields to get home. So long as you stayed out in front of the combine, you were fine. But we all survived. I hate to put this picture up, but I have to do it. Vaccines. Don't you even. So I won't. I can't go. That one is the most, I can't even talk about that one right now. And some of you are like, I won't be able to move on until I know your opinion on that. It's between you and the Lord. We're moving on. Discipline. Modes of discipline. How do we discipline our kids? Last one, technology. Oh, when do we get them a phone? When's too early? When's too late? How much time should they be allowed? Stressing, in my opinion, and I submit to you, over the wrong things. It's time to lighten. How many of you have toddlers? Let me just see. You got toddlers at home. You got toddlers. Look at both. Okay, toddlers. Can I see the hand of every grandma in this place? Would you raise your hand? You look around. I want every toddler parent to look around at grandma. Look around at grandma. Is there a grandma right around here somewhere? Do you know that lady right there with the prayer team shirt on? It's not about prayer right now. Just gonna bring that. It's not about prayer. But I want you to go have lunch with her. Do you guys know each other? I want you to have lunch today out there in the boutiques. And here's why. You got antibacterial product hanging all over your purse. All right? Hold it up. Let everybody see it. She's getting it for you. There you go. Woo! Yeah. She used to let her kids pick up cigarette butts and chew on them. And your kids are fine, aren't they? They're fine. You know what she used to do? She used to let her kids sleep in the back window of the car on long trips. You now strap them in like you're launching them to outer space. Oh, this won't be bad. What do we got, 12 hours? I can do 12 hours. She used to put 3 kids in one playpen with only one toy. That is the truth. Where we got the idea for cage fighting. And when her kids messed up, she took her kids outside of the playpen, turned the playpen upside down and put it on top of them, and her kids are fine. How many of you remember when your mom couldn't figure out which of your siblings was at fault, so she just spanked all of you? How many of you remember that? Yeah. Those were good days. How many of you remember when your mom sent you upstairs to wait for your spanking? That was worse than the spanking. How many remember when mom sent you upstairs to wait for your spanking, then forgot she sent you upstairs to wait for your spanking? You and your brother are like, do we tell her? Do we need to remind her what we're doing up here? I had a brother 4 years older than me, totally stubborn. He'd sit on his side of the bed. Oh, Dad ain't gonna break me. Mom ain't gonna break me. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm screaming on the backswing. Your kids are gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. How many remember when your mom told you the bell on the ice cream truck meant they were out of ice cream? Grandma, we honor you today. We honor you. Your kids are fine. Let's see how quick we can do this, but we've already enjoyed laughter. Again, understanding that laughter is a barometer of strength. Have you ever gotten to the end of the day and you're like, I haven't laughed once today? Is it a sign I need to find a way to laugh, or do I need to take a deeper look? What's going on that I'm so stressed, that I'm so focused on all of these, what I'm gonna say, non-essentials, that I need to get back to it? And so I wanna just share that. I know this seems like a lot, but I think we got time to plow through it. I have a chapter in the book called 38 Benefits of Laughter, and I wanna give you 42 of them before we go to lunch. No, I ain't keeping you from lunch, but I'd like to give you 15 of them, because Proverbs 17:22 says, a cheerful heart is good medicine. And we've been taking that medicine since this day began. I've been laughing since I walked through the doors at 8. I got to tell you something. Laughter is a great way to know, where am I right now? With strength, with confidence, with hope. It's a great barometer. Number one, laughter is therapy. It's therapy. We've been taking some of this today. Pastor Chuck Swindoll says, laugh out loud. It helps flush out the nervous system. Laughter is the most beautiful and beneficial therapy God ever granted humanity. Laugh. Number two, humor helps us learn, and hope opens us up for the truth. I always love telling people, yes, laughter is a medicine, but it also helps other medicines go down. And sometimes I get criticized, you use too much laughter, too much humor when you preach. I said, yeah, but if you just would pay attention, while you're laughing, I'm cramming truth down your throat. And I do it Sunday after Sunday. 3, humor helps us cope. A person without a sense of humor is like a wagon without springs. It is jolted by every pebble in the road. Good humor makes all things tolerable. Henry Ward Beecher. I love the 4th one. Laughter is free. No memberships, no subscriptions, no special outfits. Julia? I don't have to change outfits to laugh, and everybody said, it's free. But if you're gonna work out, you have to. Number 5, when we laugh, we breathe in oxygen-rich air. Dr. Sophie Scott, neuroscientist, I've been studying her for the last couple of years. I've been studying her research. That sounded really weird, the way that came out. Laughter is a deep breath, figuratively and literally. When you laugh, your rib cage expands and contracts more rapidly than it does when you breathe or talk. And that leads to the 6th one, laughing burns calories. Just to make a point, when Julia started talking, I looked at my calorie count. By the end of her talk, this is true, I was sitting there. We were sitting there. I burned 43 calories during her talk. According to Vanderbilt University, you can shed 40 calories with 10 to 15 minutes of laughter. So laugh and put away the jogging suit. That's what I say, put away the jogging suit. Number 7, laughter reduces tension throughout your entire body. Laughter reduces tension throughout your entire body. I do date night comedy events around the country, and my favorite comment to hear when people walk out is, my face hurts or my side hurts. I can't remember the last time we laughed 3 to 5 laughs per minute, and you really are exhausted at the end of the time. If you ever watch comedy specials, that's why they only go an hour and 5 or an hour and 10 minutes. You'll rarely see a comedy show go to an hour and 15 or an hour and 20, because you just don't have any more laughs in you. You're exhausted. That's a good thing, to exhaust yourself with laughter. Here's my favorite one, number 8. Your body can't tell the difference between fake and real laughter. Your mind can, but your body can't. So if you're not feeling it, fake it. So that's an important lesson for wives, okay? I don't know where your mind just went with that, but I'm talking about laughter. The next time your husband tells a joke that ain't funny, fake it. Go home from this. He says something funny or does something funny. Your body is reaping the benefits of that laughter. Let it go. 9, humor grows two people closer together. I heard somebody tell me, I think it was last year, I think live events are on their way out. And I went, what? I said, I don't think, because you know what you've been doing? You've been laughing together. You can't, when you're you can laugh at something when it's just you, but it's not nearly as much fun as this and as contagious as this. Like, watch this. I'm going to show you something. Tickle yourself right now. See if you can make yourself laugh. Yeah, you can't do it. You cannot tickle yourself to make yourself laugh. Now turn to your neighbor. No, don't turn to your neighbor. I knew, no, hey, ick. Do not turn to your neighbor. I don't even know this woman, but she's with another church. Laughing says, I'm with you. It says, I'm on the same page. I get it. 10, laughter diffuses social tension and awkwardness. Humor is a great tool to break the ice with strangers and new friends. It's an indicator. It immediately helps us identify other people that get us. This is a big one. 11, big. Laughter makes you more attractive. That online dating sites are trying to figure out how to get this into the algorithm besides just the question, do you have a sense of humor? Do you want somebody with a sense of humor? And again, tell the guys in our church, you don't need the looks of Brad Pitt. You don't need the body of The Rock. And you don't need the confidence of Tony Stark. Okay? You need a paycheck and a couple of jokes. A paycheck and laughter is great for relationship and chemistry. 12, laughter humanizes me. Laughter is a shake of the head acknowledging, I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I just did that. Ethel Barrymore said, you grow up the day you have your first real laugh at yourself. Pastor Mark Batterson says that the happiest and healthiest people in the world are the people who laugh at themselves the most. You've got to take God seriously, but you can't take yourself seriously. Honestly, I think we are grossly underestimating God's sense of humor. I believe the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. We tend to ignore the second half. Maybe we need to take fun more seriously. 3 more. 13, laughter pleases God. Randy Alcorn says, laughter is not only human, it's explicitly biblical and pleasing to God. It's therefore inconceivable to think that Jesus didn't laugh. Laughter ministers to others. The best way to cheer yourself is to try to cheer someone else up, Mark Twain. And it's one of the things I love to do when I go into a hospital. I've visited folks from our church in hospice care. And their spouse says, Ted, we're so glad you're here. You need to make him laugh. Let's just have fun together. And there have been plenty of people in their final days where we just stood around, we sat around, we told stories, and we laughed, enjoying the fellowship of one another. The last one, laughter reminds us of the hope of heaven. I like what Randy Alcorn says. Jesus says, blessed are those who weep now, for you shall laugh. In context, he's talking about people having great reward in heaven. In other words, he's saying you will laugh in heaven. Surely Jesus will join in the laughter and be a source of much of it. And when Jesus laughs, it's always the laughter of both God and man. One of the criticisms our church receives in Branson, and one of the reasons people will say they stay away from our church, is because there's too many people and too much laughter. To which we say, you're probably not going to like heaven. Heaven's gonna be a pretty rough place for you. Martin Luther actually put it this way: if they don't allow laughter in heaven, then I don't want to go there. If the earth is fit for laughter, then surely heaven is filled with it. Heaven is the birthplace of laughter. If I can just encourage you with this last image, it's on my phone. It's my alarm section. 3:40 was to get to Minnesota. But 5:22 in military time, 17:22, which is a reminder of Proverbs 17:22. Let that alarm go off and just ask yourself the question, did I even laugh today? How much laughter? What was my conflict to laughter ratio? Like, it's full of stress, or do I have enough laughter? Let that happen. And 5:25 has been going off since May for me, because it's Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And I put that in my phone when I left Morogoro, Tanzania, to commit to pray for the pastors of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania every day. And when I'm standing around a member of my family and my phone goes off at 5:25, just yesterday, hearing it go off, and Carson just looking at me, and all he says is, Africa? I go, yep. And that's our time to pray. Set a reminder to laugh. Set a reminder to pray. A.W. Tozer said the people of God ought to be the happiest people in all the wide world. The Christian owes it to the world to be supernaturally joyful. Philippians 4:4, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Thank you, Sparkle, for allowing me to share a little bit with you this morning. Love you all very much. Thank you. Thank you.